I never thought I'd be able to use a I think you should leave reference on this show, but yeah, guys, they got motorcycles. Welcome back to the Skill Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. This is the one you've been waiting for. It's certainly the one I've been waiting for. I could cut to the bench, but you wouldn't see it. This is the Losi ProMotoMX dirt bike. It's an RC dirt bike. I can't even hardly believe it because this is not something that usually goes over very well in the RC world. And there's been a lot of attempts before to do a radio control, gyro-powered motorcycle or dirt bike before, and they're all not very good. This one apparently changes all of that. And I have yet to actually drive it. It's still factory fresh, just took it out of the box. We'll go over all the things that come in the box. But I wanted to do a little on the bench stuff first, even though it's not technically going to fit on the bench. It's not small, it's quite large. It's not mega heavy, but it's got some heft to it. And it is about, as they say on the box, a 5th scale motorcycle. I'm not too familiar with that world. I've ridden dirt bikes before, but I don't have a dirt bike. I don't know anybody that's got one. But for all intents and purposes, this is pretty much what they look like. And I think that already is a huge feat for Losi to have already achieved. To make it look scale accurate and realistic and have a very cool driver, it's already, in my books, this is looking fantastic. There are a few things that we can talk about straight off the bat. The most prominent feature, I think, of this machine is, of course, the driver. He is, you know, plush. He's squishy. Even his head is a bit squishy. But they designed this to be lightweight yet strong, and also have a bunch of different outfits. So if you're like me, dressing your man is 90% of the fun. I gotta put this down for a second. It's too heavy to hold. There's a lot of licensed stuff on here. Factory Ride, FMF, ORW, SKDA, Horizon Hobbies on there, motosport.com, Dunlop tires. There are a ton of sponsor decals, which also helps add to the realism. It comes in a bunch of different colors. This is the blue. There's also red and green. And then they sell a whole bunch of other accessories to make it look different depending on what you're looking for. You can customize it. That's basically the main part of it. Let me flip it around for a second here so you get a better idea of some of the other things I need to share with you. First things first, this is chain driven. That's a real chain. It's not like plastic. It's not some gag to make it look like a chain. That's a real chain, and that goes directly to a pinion and a motor, and that's what spins the rear wheel and gives you power. Very realistic. It looks cool as. I think it just really kind of helps sell the look of the whole bike. Licensed Dunlop tires. These are some sort of spike pin off-road tire on a separate beadlock, I guess, or you can call it that, sort of a beadlock plastic wheel with real spokes. You can see right through, poke your finger in there. Don't do that when it's running. That's an innovation that I have not seen in a RC motorcycle before. Because usually this is where the gyro is in a lot of these machines, but Losi's moved it away from that to keep the realism intact and put all the running gear underneath his butt. So we're gonna have to go through some of those things here in a second as well. But it's just really got the look. Full suspension travel up front. I'm gonna try to there we go. Very, very good articulating suspension. This is a real fork. Nice metal fork, lots of strength built into that. There's also a bit of flex built into this whole front piece to allow it to flex inwards. So on a heavy landing, you're not going to crack this, hopefully. Steering is powered by a servo. There's a regular everyday servo that moves the steering just like that. And then there's a whole bunch of electronics in the center here, and that's probably the most important thing that we can talk about because there's a lot of innovations in there that I have never seen before. This is all pretty new to me. Dirt bike would be complete without rear suspension. There's a ton of travel there as well. This is all just, it feels very robust very strong. I mean, it's big, so it should be strong, but you know they made it to take some abuse and actually do some dirt bike things. And that's what's impressing me the most so far, is that it doesn't in any way feel like a toy. This feels like a well-engineered machine. And yeah, there's a bunch of plastic on here, but I think there's metal where it counts. And this is I'll get into this, but it is a twin vertical plate chassis. So there's two aluminum plates that run the entire length of the inside structure and kind of keep everything sandwiched together to create all that rigidity. So yeah, it's definitely been very well engineered. There's a lot of really smart stuff going on here. These roller balls on the side here, these are to help you kind of keep the bike upright in corners, and also, you know, will help keep it level too. They can be removed if you are feeling saucy. I'm going to keep them on mine because I think there's a steep learning curve to driving one of these. The rear of the ProMoto MX features this really nice flip-up tail here, and that's sort of designed to save this piece from being cracked off when you inevitably do a wheelie that goes a bit too far. That's going to help tremendously. Also featured is a faux exhaust tip. I think that's just kind of a nice little attention to detail that they actually took the time to put that in place, and really does add to the overall look and realism of the bike. Before we get too far into this, I should go over what you get in the box. Of course, you get the ProMoto MX. You get a very handy and extremely important quick start guide. You definitely should read this prior to trying to drive your bike. Or is it ride your bike? I think it's ride. Ride your bike. Drive a car, ride a bike. There's also a flyer with a bunch of option parts. There's all kinds of different colors of aluminum parts that you can get. There's also a secondary driver, as well as different wheels and tires. There's even an RTR package if you're interested in picking that up. Then there is the full-scale manual, which is much more of a Bible of things that you should probably read before riding your motorcycle. There's also a discount code for the Supermoto tires, which I've already ordered. I'm pretty keen on that. There is a sticker with a QR code, and that QR code probably takes you to support for this bike. And then two other sticker packs. This is to replace the graphics on the actual bike in case you want to change the numbers. And you can't see it there, but trust me, there's numbers on there, so you can put whatever number you like on there. 69, dude! You also get 4 AA batteries for the transmitter, chain lube for lubing your chain. That's what she said. There's a bunch of spacers and options for changing the tension on the chain if it stretches over time. A bunch of handy-dandy tools, including 2 nails. And those nails are for the stand. This stand, you can actually place the rear of the bike into this stand, put 2 nails in there, nail this into the ground so you've got a nice starting place or starting gate for the bike. Another cool thing. In addition to all of that, there is a handy credit card sized card that you can put in your wallet or Ridge wallet if you're one of those people. This has both the support and the upgrades QR codes for the ProMoto MX. Handy to have that with you because you never know. You might need to call somebody and tell them how much you like your ProMoto MX. The radio that Losi is pairing with the ProMoto MX is the DX3, and this is it right here, but it's not the same as all the other DX3s, and it's not just because the wheel looks more like a motorcycle wheel. There's a few extra knobs and switches here that are specific to the ProMoto MX. The first one being the flywheel switch. That is to power the flywheel, and you need that in order to make this bike work. It will not work without the flywheel. This is using a mechanical disc brake and actually has a real disc brake that is connected to a servo that will function. This is a metal plate, not plastic, and it actually will stop the bike, which is pretty unique. I mean, it does probably also use the motor to brake the vehicle, but to have that in conjunction with the rest of it, very cool. It's kind of complicated to try to talk about this in a simple way because it's not a very simple machine. There's a lot going on here that is pretty unique to this bike. And I'm going to start with the MS6X technology, which is motorcycle stability technology. And it's probably a 6-axis, which is why they call it 6. But it's basically a really sophisticated computerized system that works in conjunction with the 2200 kV brushless motor powered gyro, which spins at over 22,000 RPM. And that is what keeps the bike upright, not just at high speeds, but at low speeds as well, and also through the corners. Adjustments from the radio will allow you to adjust that MS6X technology to give you more lean in the corners. If you're looking to really kind of carve and get really low to the ground, that will allow you to adjust that, which is really cool. It's amazing, actually. It's amazing technology. So there's not just one brushless motor in this bike, there's two. One that powers the rear wheel to give you forward momentum, and the other one to give you that gyroscopic momentum to keep it upright. And in the quick start guide, I cannot recommend this enough. You do need to read through all of those directions in order to make sure you're setting up your bike properly. Power it on, then leave it on the ground, tilted or upright, it doesn't matter. Fire up the gyro from the radio, wait 30 seconds for it to kind of spool up, and then off you go. Now, not only does it have the technology to allow you to adjust the amount of tilt in the turns, there are also 3 driving modes, which give you a ton more control, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Off-road mode, which is designed for loose surfaces so it can maintain control as it's trying to get grip. There's also an on-road mode, which gives you maximum control when it's an on-road surface like asphalt, pavement, concrete, bitumen, tarmac. Those types of surfaces where you're going to want to use the on-road mode. And there is finally a wheelie mode, which will allow you to maintain and sustain wheelies for extended periods of time. I've heard that you can do 100-foot wheelies, and I would very much like to try that. That sounds like a lot of fun. All of this is powered by a 2S battery, which seems ludicrous to me. I don't know how they're doing it. A 5,000 milliamp hour 2S pack gives you about 10 minutes of runtime, so it's not a ton, and there are a ton of moving parts in here and things to control, so that doesn't really surprise me. So make sure to get extra batteries. I've got 3, I think, that I can easily use, and they all go in back here. There is, oh, that's nice, it's on a stretchy thing. There's the battery box right in there, so you slide your battery in and pop that back on, put your body clip back in, and you're ready to go. Because this is a Horizon product, they do have their special Spectrum Smart what are these called? That is the Smart Spectrum IC5. That's the IC5 connector. So you will want to make sure you're running the same type of batteries or some sort of adapter. If you do run the smart batteries, if you are running the smart batteries, you do have the advantage of the smart battery level indicator on the radio. So I'm going to be doing that because, while it's probably not dangerous to run out of battery, it probably just tips over and it's done. It is nice to know that you can see the amount of battery you've used, especially when you're trying to film this at the same time as drive it. This is a big bike, and with all that weight, because it is about 8 pounds or so, they wanted to develop a very strong front fork, and there's a lot of innovation that went into this. I can't go through all the details. I'm not an engineer, but suffice to say, they spent a lot of time up front on the fork and the whole kind of front steering and suspension assembly to make sure it was going to handle all the abuse that you're going to be throwing at it, or I'm going to be throwing at it, hopefully soon. To go with that servo, there is a very nice, strong servo saver, so that should save your servo in the event of some sort of accident. But it does seem like it's a very nice, robust, smart design. They've done their homework on this. And according to Losi, this was in development for like 3 years. So I'm sure they went through a few prototypes and came up with a really strong, smart design. It's very good. That steering servo is only good for 138 ounce-inches of torque, which doesn't seem like enough. But I guess the way a motorcycle works is you're not really turning so much as you're leaning to make it go in different directions. So maybe that's enough, maybe it isn't. We'll see over time. It is an RTR style servo, so we'll have to see how that goes. But that's what's included. Come here for the technical specs. And in fact, if you're enjoying this video and you like dirt bikes, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you get updates anytime there's a new video from the Scale Builders Guild. The main motor that powers the bike and gives you all that forward momentum to get you up to 40 miles per hour, I might add, is a 3800 kV brushless 4-pole motor. It's not censored, it is sensor-less. Don't really need a censored situation here. It's not rock crawling or trial bike riding. And that's running through an 85 amp ESC designed specifically for being in this bike. From what I've seen so far, I can tell that Losi's put a ton of time and effort into not just making this a mechanically sound and enjoyable experience, but you can tell by the amount of media that they put around it and the videos that they put out to go with it. All the complimentary videos to tell you how it works and tell you what's inside of it shows me that they've put a significant amount of investment into making this a real thing. $549 for the RTR, not including batteries or chargers, is a lot of money for something like this, especially something on 2 wheels that could have limited use. But I think they've solved it, because most motorcycles really do suck. And from what I've seen, this one looks great. But now it's time for me to take it out and experience that for myself. So let's go do that. I've been waiting for this for so long. This is so exciting. Yes. Now, I've had a little bit of time, oops, to hit trees. Just gonna get my bearings here a little bit first. Yes, okay. I had a bit of practice now, and it does it does have that learning curve. I think that's important to note, that in order to really kind of unlock the potential with this vehicle, you do need to have some time to practice. And that's natural, that's normal, that's expected. So, oh, and just picking it up and having that gyro going is insane. It's so cool. One of the things that I found really helpful is experimenting with the actual amount of rate on the MS6X control, and that's giving you more tilt in the turns. So let's try to demonstrate that here. You can see I'm getting a fair bit of tilt there, yeah? This is a good spot to sort of tell you that the ProMotoMX should have a lot of space to run. It needs space. So like single track, things like that, not gonna work so well, because you really do, you do kind of need to have that extra open space to turn, and also to be able to kind of enjoy it. You know, you can't keep, like I can't keep up with this thing. I can't run against it. So that's a big challenge. So yeah, a lot of open space is good. Open space will do you well. Let's get rid of some of this grass. All right, let's, we're in off-road mode, so let's hit it. It does an incredible job of soaking up the bumps. The suspension is fantastic. The key to this thing is practice. Once you get the hang of it, and once you start dialing in that the tilt control, you can really find yourself really starting to find real control. Let's see how it jumps. Whoa! Whoa! It is a tough RC, I will say that for sure. It's pretty impressive the amount of what you can throw at it, and it just kind of keeps taking it, which is great. I do love how easy it is to jump when you hit it right. It's all about varying that throttle. Amazing. What I said before really stands though. You do need, oh man, it's so great. You do need a lot of space to keep it moving. All right, so we're on road for a little bit here, just to show you some more dynamic driving, what this thing is capable of. You can see that steering radius is not narrow when you're just leaning into it. Now you can change the amount of lean that the bike has using the dial here, furthest most on the left. If I turn that all the way up, see it gets quite low, and it will do a nice tight steering radius, but it's basically dragging the whole time. Now we are in wheelie mode, and it'll keep that wheelie for as long as you want, provided that there is grip. Which, man, that mode is very fun, and I think this thing really comes alive when it's got traction. And you can brake, you can hit the brakes if you need to. And they are pretty effective. Whoa! Gyro did not like that. And you can start to use that brake to help you turn too. Very, very fun outside on a hard surface. But this wouldn't be much of a dirt bike if we didn't get it into the dirt. So as soon as we get this battery done, we've got another battery all set and ready to go here, so we'll take that out. You can see as soon as it loses grip, the gyro fights. It fights the loose and wants to try to correct itself. So you find a nice smooth patch and it'll just wheelie for as long as you want it to. And using the brake, you can get it to do some pretty tight turns if you want. Its top speed is about 40 miles an hour on 2S, which is pretty amazing. I can't get over that wheelie mode, man. That's so fun. 2 beeps should be on road. And that'll do everything it can to kind of keep the nose down. So you can roll into the throttle and it'll keep the nose down. And if you try to do a wheelie, it'll pop it down. Because that gyro is reading all that information in real time and adjusting on the fly. Very cool. Okay, let's find a way to jump this curb and make our way over to some dirt. Freshly demolished jungle gym should serve quite nicely. We are in off-road mode now, and it'll throw some roosts and looks super cool doing it. In the looser surfaces like this, it is going to be more challenging to drive. There's no doubt about that. Because you're really relying on traction to make it go. And when there isn't any, it's not going to do very well. I think its best place is in the more solid earth. Not saying this isn't fun, because it is. And oh, look at this, a nice stump. Maybe letting off the throttle is important. I have had some success where it sort of modulates the throttle in the air. So let's see if we can get it to do that again. I think we're also approaching cutoff on this battery. All those wheelies, man. All right, there's cutoff. Let's change batteries. So while that's spinning up, this is battery number 3, I guess. Off-road mode, well, they call it dirt mode. So I think dirt mode works best on things like dirt, loose dirt. On the grass, I suspect it's probably better to run it in on-road mode. It won't wheelie, of course, because it's keeping the nose down. But I think it's just probably smarter to try to run it in that, because I think the gyro is going to react a little bit better, because this is more, this is more like on-road. There's more slip, so it's going to probably maybe be a combination. We're going to try it in dirt mode, see how it does, and kind of go from there. It's really fighting because there's a significant amount of loose surface going on here, but man, that looks so cool. Oh, yes. Yep. I mean, this is pretty uneven and very soft. It's almost like being on the dunes, so not really surprised. Let's see how it does in this dirt mode on, say, grass. That's so awesome though, man. Oh, that's a crash. Yeah, it seems to have, like, once it gets into sort of like better grip. Oh, no, that seemed to do quite well on that jump, so I think off-road mode is the way to go here. Yep, as I expected, it does cut throttle to maintain the upright position as it's going through the air. So there you go. Off-road mode, or dirt mode as they call it, good for all surfaces. How fun is that? You can hear it cut throttle. Let's see if we can get a better angle at this. Yeah, you can hear it cut throttle in the air, which is pretty amazing. It's a very smart system. Oh, well, it's the smart batteries for you, I guess. Do you think this is something that you're going to get? I absolutely think this thing is the best. And I look forward to spending a lot more time with it and getting comfortable with it. And I really hope that a bunch of my friends get them because it's just so much fun. Like, there's nothing else quite like it. It takes some getting used to. There's definitely a curve to get it to work the way it should. But once you get there and you sort of understand it, it's a total blast. The realism is great. The way it looks, the way it runs, the way it's able to control itself and do some pretty cool stuff makes it, for me, definitely something that I'm gonna have a lot of fun with for a long time. I'm pretty sure I'm ordering all of the upgrades. I want to see what kind of difference they might make in its handling, its ability to drive. I am absolutely loving it. All right, I think that's gonna do it for this one. If you enjoyed this video, you like seeing me drive a dirt bike, or trying to drive a dirt bike more accurately, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, ring that notification bell so you get updates anytime there's a new video from the Scale Builders Guild. I'm gonna go rip it a bit more, and that's gonna wrap this one up. Are you going to get one of these? Put a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking, and if you've got a special livery you want to get done, because Losi does include all the templates for all of these decals, so you can make your own. That's going to do it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.